City were unable to manufacture any clear-cut chances. So this is the impact you're going to get without KDB, and we will know after the game, after today, maybe by tomorrow, we'll be sure how long or how impactful or how huge or big that is. This is not a team that is a stranger to this level of football as well. So they also have their own style. They try to slow things down. They are very, 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 very immensely confident in possession. Try to. Transit TV, welcome back again to our Champions League studios. Today, second day of this year's Champions League. Obviously, you know what you're going to get. Football at the highest level in terms of club competition. This is where the big guns are, meet. And this season, UEFA has tried to make it possible for smaller teams from smaller countries in Europe to have a chance in this year's competition. And you also know the brain behind this one. It has to be more money for the clubs, and especially to nullify the shenanigans of the big clubs. You know what happened a couple of seasons ago, where Real Madrid owners and Barcelona owners came up with this idea to bring a competition for and promise more money for these big clubs. We considered it before the fans had their massive outrage, which stopped and scuffled that idea. So this is in time UEFA came up with expanded the competition to give more room to more teams, and obviously more money for the big teams who we go find this competition, which has also made it come to mean that these players are going to have more games to play, especially the teams that always go all the way in these competitions. We have heard players come out, especially Man City players have been vocal about this week. You had the Gundogan, the Silva, you had Rodri, and a few of them talk about it. And today, Manchester City 0, Inter Milan 0. This is a repetition of the 2023 UEFA Champions League finals. When these two teams, this picture came out, you of course know what you are going to get from these two. It was all going to be a very tactical battle, mature one indeed, from these two teams, these two coaches, and who are loyal to the way they see football, who are loyal to the way their teams play football, and they will always limit each other to very few chances. It was very sure. There's no way, if you love football in Europe, you're going to miss this one, because it's always promises to be a very tactical one. But if you don't enjoy tactics, if you don't enjoy tactical battles and teams or coaches trying to outsmart or outthink rival coaches, you will not enjoy this one, because it doesn't give you that intensity or that electricity that you expect to, that gives fans joy or emotions as the game progresses. So this one was always going to be a tactical one, and which also has given us just a few talking points in this one, being the approach and the execution of the plan for these two teams going into this one. We talk about the big injury to KDB. He was subbed off, and the chances in this game as well. Haaland has scored 8 goals in 4 games already this season. We'll talk about him, of course. We're going to talk about Manchester City. We're going to talk about Erling Haaland. And we'll also touch briefly on PSG 1, Girona 1. That one ended in France, and that sets the tone for this one beyond the series, day 2 into 2024 Champions League competition season. Yes, like I said, structure and the approach, the application by these two teams. English teams, you always know they come with intensity, the pace of the game. And that Manchester City has won the EPL 4 times in a row, going for the 5th one this season. So you know how we're going to get from them that intensity. They wear you out with passes and make sure don't give you any chance to breathe. On the other hand, the Inter Milan, of course, this is a team that has a little bit older players. They have been together for a little bit, and Berlusconi, their coach, has kept this team together. They've won the Scudetto. They've played the UEFA Champions League finals in the last 2 seasons, and this is not a team that that is a stranger to this level of football as well. So they also have their own style. They try to slow things down. They are very, 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 very immensely confident in possession. May try to frustrate Manchester City, try to reduce the pace and intensity of the game to suit their players, their age, and the way they play football. And this they managed to do today made it impossible for Manchester City to play at that pace that they would love to play. So this game became a game of chase, more to say, and continued that way. Manchester City had upper hand, of course, had a lot of possession in this one, obviously as expected, and but they really didn't really threaten Inter Milan or create so many chances in the game, because Inter Milan, first of all, we are very, very strong defensively. They are strong in possession, strong in duels. They tried to execute or smart Manchester City in the midfield a few times they could. With all the possession, City could not really manufacture much. And yeah, that's how it panned out. It became a game of chase, and you knew that it was not going to be more than 1-0 that will separate these two teams in this one. Exactly what you got in the finals 2 seasons ago. But of course, that one ended 1-0 in favor of Manchester City. Today, none of these teams were able to, hurt each other in terms of taking their chances, which were very few in the game. Then that takes us to chances. It was just limited chances, and most of them have chances, apart from the two that fell to Ika Gundogan and Mkhitaryan. Yeah, Eddie Haaland, like I said in the beginning, has scored 8 goals in 4 games this season already. So he was always going to be a threat. In the first half, he had a few, I don't know, call them chances, but sight on goal. So Inter Milan was always going to focus on him. They was going to keep close eye on him, and he probably did not have much to feed on today, especially after KDB's injury. So which meant that a lot of the chances fell on other players. It's like I think Bernardo Silva. No, Gundogan had 2 chances, 2 headers, get a ball chipped in behind between the two center halves somehow. And this is a player that has scored so many big goals for Manchester City. If there is anybody in that pitch that you would have loved that chance to fall onto, apart from Haaland, is a Gundogan. But he did not manage to take any of those chances today. And again, in terms of Inter Milan, they had the chance. I would say 2 chances in the second half. One to Mkhitaryan that he blew over the bar, and the other one, I won't really call it a chance, but Lautaro Martinez would have done better with his chance that was saved by Ederson. So yeah, the Foden also had a sight on goal from outside the box. Though I thought he could have used the options he had on his left side. There was Grealish and Bernardo Silva for him on the left side to use, but he decided to go by himself and score for the opportunity as well. So yeah, there are just limited chances in this one, because this is how these two teams played. Because how, of course, he was obvious and expected that it was going to pan out that way. So they were not clinical enough this time around to take either of these chances, and that is the reason why this game had ended 0-0. And we'll move to the next one. Then another very massive, big talking point in this one is the injury to KDB. This guy has been a huge player for Pep Guardiola and his team. And halfway into the second half, he got injured. And how you know how big this injury is, how impactful this injury can be to Manchester City, a team like Manchester City. It meant that City had to change their shape. 2 players had to come on to replace one, to change the shape of City, to try to get something out of the game. Pep Guardiola, yes, a tactical coach, but most of the time he doesn't really make too many changes in his game. Sometimes we've see him go in big games like this 90 minutes without a substitution. But once KDB got injured, obviously it impacts the way he had set out his team, and they had to adjust. He had to bring in Gundogan and fold it into the fray, and meaning that Gundogan played closely behind Haaland and dropping forward in the 10th position and moving the Bernardo Silva to the right wing in the beginning. As soon as that happened, which eventually he also took him out and brought Doku, but still the City were unable to manufacture any clear-cut chances. So this is the impact you're going to get without KDB, and we will know after the game, after today, maybe by tomorrow, we'll be sure how long or how impactful or how huge or big that injury is going to be for KDB. So we'll have to be known, left to be seen as the days unfold. So yeah, this is how this one panned out. It was a very, very serious tactical battle. Like I said, these two teams set out differently. The Star City, of course, goes with their 4-3-3 formation on paper, but of course, when they are building, they build with two at the back, two in front of the two, and then three and Haaland. On the other hand, Inter Milan came with their 4-2-2 formation. Yes, that's how they play. They always these players understand this formation, they understand the coach, understand what the coach wants from them. Substitutions made in and out, if they remain the same, it remains resolute in the out of possession and try to hit teams on the break. And that they did today. Like I said, it was a very fantastic tactical watch for me, trying to figure out how these two teams want to outsmart each other. But obviously today they couldn't break each other down, and it ended 0-0. The second game that I would have loved to touch on today was the PSG. PSG, of course, managed to get a 90th minute winner after a lot of chances. And I want to say this now: if PSG really want to get anything out of the Champions League this season, I don't think Roman is going to be that striker. They should do everything possible to get Victor Osimhen, because remember in the summer they tried to get him. The rumor had it that they offer 65 million, but Napoli, they will not take that offer, and Osimhen was willing to go to PSG. So I think January, based on what we have heard about his new release clause that made it possible for him to go on loan to Fenerbahce, to Galatasaray, I expect PSG to go back for Osimhen this January and try to get him. But Kolo Muani is not to be trusted. Dembele, of course, with all that history, with all the talent, you can also trust him. They have to rely on a very, very disappointing howler by the Girona keeper today at the 90th minute to get a winner in this game after manufacturing so many scoreable chances in the game. So PSG, and I know Enrique will do everything to push the ownership of the PSG to go for Victor Osimhen this January, who has a clause. There's a clause that allows him to leave this in the come January transfer window. So I know PSG are going to go back into for him in this January. So then that game ended 0-0. I'm going to give you a run of results from other places today, and we'll go into the third day tomorrow. Arsenal plays tomorrow against Atalanta. Today you had Bologna 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 0. Sparta Prague beat RB Salzburg 3-0 at home. Celtic ran away with 5-1 win over Slovan Bratislava at home in Scotland. Club Brugge lost at home to Dortmund 3-0. And Manchester City, Inter Milan, obviously it was 0-0. And PSG at home won Girona 1-0. So that's how the two of this season Champions League panned out. And let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think of course, Manchester City is expected to be one of the straight qualifiers in the top 8 at the end of the group stages. How do you think this result is going to impact these two teams going forward into this competition? And like I said, I don't think Kolo Muani is going to be that striker that will lead PSG to anything serious especially in Europe this season. What do you think about that? Do you think Peter Osimhen will be a right fit for PSG? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and we'll move on to tomorrow, the third day 3 into this season's Champions League competition. Arsenal will play tomorrow, like I said, my darling Arsenal. And I will see you. Like I said, don't forget to reach out to Abasan if you need stuff like this. They are a very quality and astute, very, very meticulous company that you can trust when it comes to souvenirs and branding. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.